Hi there YouTube, welcome back to another episode of Auntie A's Kitchen. Simple and delicious food cooked and prepared in South Korea. If you're new to this channel, then welcome. Today we are going to be making a quiche, and I love a quiche, a savoury quiche. We'll do a sweet pie tart another day, but today we're going to do a quiche, and I'm going to fill it with spinach, ham, onions and cheese. Absolutely delicious. We're going to be using a short crust pastry, which is very quick to make and easy. It doesn't have a long rise like some of the other pastries. You just put it in the fridge for a short time. And I'm going to tell you a quick little story. When I was dating my husband many years ago, one of the meals, the first meals, invited me back to his apartment that he cooked me was this quiche. And I tell you, it was delicious. It was so good. I thought, marry that man. And every so often he still cooks that quiche and we reminisce of our dating time. So let's look at the ingredients and get cooking. For your quiche, there are many kinds of dishes that you can use. If I were cooking this for myself and my husband and family, then I would probably use this one. I'm not worried about the presentation. I will cut it up inside of its dish and then serve. But since I'm entertaining today some friends, I will use this one. The bottom comes out of the dish and it allows you to lift the quiche outside, and it will make it look just really pretty because of the edges around this pan. And I have some smaller ones here that I might make a small one as well as a big one. We'll see how much pastry we have. We're using butter, and this butter's from Home Plus, an egg and some flour, some wheat flour. I think this works really well. Inside my quiche, I'm going to have some spinach, ham, onion, cheese, some cayenne pepper. You know me well by now. I really like the spiciness, a little bit of a hit when I put this in. I think it's because I've been living in Korea now for over 10 years that my taste buds are changing. Some salt and pepper, some cream, and these 3 eggs will make the inside. You can sieve your flour. I'm going to put it straight into the bowl. Now, normally with a short crust pastry, you do half flour, half fat. But I will be using less butter because I will add an egg to my flour and butter instead of water to make my pastry. I then use my hand to pinch the flour and butter together. As you do this, the flour colour and consistency will change. I will then add an egg to make my pastry. Just like that. And mix this up. I make a ball with my pastry and wrap it up in cling film before putting it in my fridge for about an hour. While it is in the fridge, I will prepare the other ingredients. You can use any cheese for your quiche, but I recommend using a strong flavour cheese like a gruyere, or as I'm using, a gouda. You could use any type of ham in your quiche, but I find that the Korean smaller packs of ham work really well, and I don't even measure them out. I just use the whole pack. Cut up your ham into small cubes, and this will ensure that every mouthful in your quiche gets a bit of ham. We will lightly cook the ham off later on during the preparation. Spin away. A bit of oil. I'm using oil here to grease my tin, but you could also use butter. Flour down on our board. Pastry's been resting for about 40 minutes. I then roll it out into a circle so that it is slightly bigger than the baking tin I am using. What the size is. Into our pan. Once you've put your pastry over the top, gently push it into all the sides around your pan. You'll notice here that I have a little bit of a gap, so just use some of your spare pastry to fill in the gap, and you will not notice once it is cooked. Then with a knife, gently around the edge of your tin, cut off any excess pastry. We are now going to blind bake our quiche, which means we are going to pre-cook our pastry. Put some foil or baking paper into your quiche and fill it with lentils, rice or chickpeas to weight down the sides and to stop the pastry from lifting up. Then you are going to put it into the oven to cook for 10 minutes. 10 minutes. I had some spare pastry and I wanted to show you another style of quiche, so you see me preparing a small quiche here. After 10 minutes, I take my pastry base out of the oven and remove the lentils. I had forgotten to fork the base of my pastry before I put it into the oven, so I quickly put a few holes in the base. I then put this back into the oven for another 5 to 10 minutes to cook at 180°C before I put the filling inside. Blind baking your pastry is optional, but I do think it helps your quiche taste nicer. I'm going to forward wind this part quickly, but I basically do the same as what I've done for my big quiche, and I blind bake my smaller quiche in exactly the same way. Before I start cooking, I quickly prepare my cream and milk. Okay, so let's get the second part of our quiche going. Some oil in the pan. Let's caramelise those. So a little bit of garlic powder. Once I've given the onions a head start, I then add the ham to caramelise with the onions. When the spinach goes, it will wilt down. Pepper and just a little bit of salt. Nice colour, so I'm going to turn that off now. My eggs, mix in my milk and cream. Season this Cayenne, we like a little bit of a hit, about that much. And I'm going to put this back into here because it will be easier to pour. Crust looking rather nice. Now, some people will put this mixture all together and then put it in. But I like to build it up. So you'll see here, put some of my mixture into the bottom, like this. Spread it around so that there's a bit of everything. Then a bit of cheese so that it's built up. Just like this, into the edges, and then another layer. I have noticed that with some quiches the ingredients sink to the bottom, but by layering up you ensure that you have some ingredients in every mouthful of your quiche. Once you have filled your quiche with your ingredients, one of the last things to do is to pour your egg and milk cream mixture over your quiche, making sure that you have filled in all of the spaces and covered to the top. A little bit cheese on the top. This now goes into my oven for 30 minutes. While the big quiche is in the oven, I get on with making the little quiche. These are my favourite to make. They are very fiddly, but the end result is worth it because they look fantastic. Put our mixture in with some cheese. This now goes into the oven. So with the blind bake it was 180, but now that I'm cooking the quiche, I've turned the temperature up to 200. Big quiche and our small quiche. If I were doing a dinner party, I would do lots of little quiches and different flavours. So you could do tomato and feta cheese, leek and bacon, spinach and ham, or a plain cheese. I really like these small quiche, and this is a perfect size for a lunchtime. And so I would have this and a salad, or I'd have a section of this and a salad, but I really like these little ones. They're a little bit more fiddly to do, but I like the shape of them. You'll see it's really, really indented, whereas this one has a bit more of a crust. The base off, you put it on something round, allow it to drop down, and then I can move this now to cool more on my tray. So thanks for joining today. I hope you were inspired to go and cook quiche for yourself, friends or family. Please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe and share this with your friends. And I look forward to seeing you in another episode. God bless.